Kanto feels like a beginning you never quite leave behind. A map drawn in first steps and quiet courage. Grasp that rustles like it's waiting for you. Roads that don't just connect places, they introduce them. The air is simpler here. Less about vastness, more about clarity. You don't get lost in Kanto. You grow through it. The land doesn't rush you. It teaches you a small town, a lab, a choice, and suddenly everything starts. Pallet Town is where the story exhales for the first time. Not grand, not loud, just still. 2 houses, a lab, the edge of the world. But that's the point. Kanto doesn't begin with spectacle. It begins with possibility. The first Pokémon you choose isn't just a partner. It's a direction, a personality, a quiet promise that you'll see this journey through together. Route 1 stretches gently, like a question. Nothing overwhelming, just enough to teach you how to move, how to notice, how to listen. Every step forward feels earned, even when it's small, and in Kanto, small matters. Viridian Forest hums with life, not loud life, hidden life, the kind you only notice when you slow down. Bug, Pauk, Ermon cling to leaves like secrets. Light filters through branches in soft patterns. The path twists just enough to make you pay attention. It's the first place that asks, are you just passing through? Or are you present? Kanto's design was never about scale. It was about structure. Each city, each route, each cave placed with intention. Like stepping stones across a river. You don't jump ahead, you move forward, and with each step the world expands, not outward but inward. Pewter City stands firm, stone, stability, the first real test. It doesn't overwhelm you. It grounds you. Brock's gym isn't just about winning. It's about understanding type, patience, preparation. Kanto teaches quietly. Strength isn't force, it's awareness. Cerulean City flows in contrast. Water, light, motion. Misty's gym feels alive, fluid, unpredictable. Here you begin to understand adaptation, that no strategy holds forever. That change is part of progress. And then there's the rival, always one step ahead. Not cruel, just certain. In Kanto, your rival isn't just an obstacle, he's a mirror. Where you hesitate, he moves. Where you learn, he's already tested. But over time, the distance between you closes. Not because he slows down, but because you grow. Team Rocket moves beneath the surface of it all. Not chaos, but control. They don't shout, they take. Sylph Co, Pokémon Tower, hidden hideouts, Each moment reveals something deeper. Kanto isn't just about becoming strong, it's about protecting what matters. Lavender Town whispers instead of speaks, a place where the journey pauses, where loss isn't hidden behind mechanics, where Pokémon aren't just tools but companions. The tower stands tall, not as a challenge, but as a reminder. Every journey carries weight. The paths begin to open. Bikes speed up movement. Surf carries you across water. Strength reshapes the land. You're no longer just exploring Kanto. You're understanding it, how everything connects. How every barrier was once a lesson waiting. Saffron City becomes the center. Busy, complex, divided. Two gyms, one taken over. A city caught between order and disruption. Here, your role sharpens, not just a trainer, but someone who restores balance. Victory Road doesn't welcome you, it tests you. Stone, puzzles, strength, everything you've learned, asked all at once, and yet it feels fair, because Kanto has prepared you for this. Every route, every gym, every quiet moment, nothing wasted. The Pokémon League stands at the edge of it all. For trainers, for philosophies, and then your rival, waiting not as the one ahead anymore, but as the one who made it to Kanto, ends the way it began. Quietly, no grand explosion, no endless aftermath. Just recognition that you started somewhere small and became something more. Kanto isn't the largest region. It isn't the most complex, but it's the one that understands beginnings. That growth doesn't need spectacle. That adventure doesn't need noise. Just a path, a partner, and the willingness to take the first step. If hone was rhythm and balance, Kanto is foundation, the place where everything starts, and somehow the place you always return to. And even after the league, Kanto doesn't really end, because endings here aren't walls, they're echoes. You return to places you once struggled through, and they feel different now, not because they've changed, but because you have root. One isn't a path anymore, it's a memory. Viridian Forest isn't confusing anymore. It's familiar. The tall grass that once felt uncertain now feels like home. That's the quiet truth about Kanto. It doesn't grow bigger, you grow into it. Cerulean Cave waits, hidden away, not announced, not marked, just there for those who are ready. And inside, silence. Not peaceful silence, but something heavier, a presence. Mewtwo doesn't feel like a final boss. It feels like a question left unanswered. What happens when power exists without purpose? What happens when creation forgets connection? Kanto doesn't answer you. It just lets you stand there and think. And maybe that's why Kanto stays with people. Because it doesn't overwhelm you with meaning. It gives you space to find your own. The towns begin to feel like chapters. Pallet Town beginnings, Viridian uncertainty, Pewter structure, Cerulean adaptation, Vermilion energy, Lavender reflection, Celadon complexity, Fuchsia exploration, Saffron conflict, Cinnabar revelation. Each one isn't just a stop, it's a shift. Vermilion City hums differently. There's movement here, not just people, but purpose. The SSN doesn't stay. It arrives, and then it leaves. Just like moments in your journey, Surge's gym isn't just tactical, hidden switches, locked doors. It teaches something subtle. Progress isn't always forward. Sometimes it's about figuring out how to move at all. Celadon City feels almost overwhelming at first. Big buildings, crowds, options, the game, corner, the department store, hidden paths. It's the first time Kanto feels layered. And Erica's gym, tucked within nature, feels like a contrast to all of it. Soft, but strong. Calm, but rooted. Kanto. Reminds you again. Strength doesn't always look loud. Fuchsia. City expands things outward. The Safari Zone breaks the rules. No battles. No certainty. Just observation. Timing. Chance. You're not controlling Pokémon here. You're understanding them. And that shift matters. Because Kanto has been teaching you this all along. You just didn't notice. Then there's the ocean. Roots that stretch beyond sight. Water that doesn't guide its surrounds. Surf isn't just a mechanic. It's freedom. You're no longer following paths carved for you. You're choosing direction. Cinnabar Island feels isolated, not forgotten, but distant. The lab, the mansion, the stories buried in journals. Here Kanto finally let something surface. It wasn't always peaceful. The experiments, the ambition, the consequences. Mewtwo wasn't an accident. It was intention without restraint. And now, the region carries that weight quietly. Even Blaine's gym feels different. Less about proving strength, more about confronting knowledge. Fire isn't just destructive. It reveals. And what it reveals here isn't simple. By the time you reach Viridian Gym again, something feels different. Familiar, but changed. Giovanni stands. They're not hidden anymore. No disguises. No distance. Just the truth. And the battle isn't just about strength. It's about resolution. Because Kanto's story isn't just yours. It's his. To ambition, control, lost to paths crossing in the same region but leading to very different outcomes. And when it's over, he doesn't linger. He leaves no dramatic end, no final speech that ties everything together. Just absence. Kanto lets things end quietly, because not every story needs closure. The elite four feel like the culmination, but not in the way you expect. Lorelei, Bruno, Agatha, Lance, they don't just test your team, they test your understanding. Ice, fighting, Ghost, Dragon Age, one represents something different. Control, discipline, mystery, power, and you move through them not just battling, but recognizing what you've learned. Then your rival stands there again. But something has changed. Not just in strength, in perspective. He's not ahead anymore. You're not behind. You've both arrived. And the battle feels equal, not easy. Not overwhelming, just right. When you win, it doesn't feel like taking something from him. It feels like completing something together. Professor Oak's voice cuts through the moment. Not loud, not celebratory, just certain recognition. And suddenly, it's done. But Kanto doesn't celebrate loudly. It doesn't flood you with noise or spectacle. It gives you a quiet moment, a pause, a chance to look back. Because when you think about it, Kanto never forced you forward. It invited you. Every route could have been rushed. Every gym could have been powered through. Every moment could have been skipped. But the experience comes from staying, from noticing, from choosing to engage. And that's why it lasts. Even the music feels like memory. Simple melodies that don't overwhelm, they linger, they repeat. Not because they lack variety, but because they become familiar, like footsteps, like breathing cantos. Simplicity isn't a limitation. It's intention. It doesn't try to be everything. It just tries to be enough. And somehow it is. Because years later, people don't just remember Kanto. They remember how it felt. The first step into tall grass. The first Pokémon court. The first gym won. The first loss that mattered. Kanto isn't just a region. It's a reference point. Every other journey is compared to it. Not because it's the biggest or the most complex, but because it was the first to show what a journey could be. And even when you leave it behind, you don't really leave it. It stays in small things, the way you approach a new region, the way you choose your starter, the way you think about type matchups, routes, progression. All of it traces back here. Kanto doesn't demand to be remembered. It just is. And maybe that's what makes it powerful. Not spectacle, not scale, not complexity, just clarity, a beginning that understands itself, a world that doesn't need to prove anything because it already did. And when you return to Pallet Town one last time, it feels the same, not smaller, not outdated, just complete. The water still moves gently along the shore. The lab still stands quietly. The houses still rest in place. And you realize something. Kanto didn't change. You did. And somehow, that was always the point.